I tell him. Ah!
Attack left lane.
Wow, none of us can English tonight.
No.
I can English too now, can't I? God damn it.
Attack the Gold Fury.
Someone's autocorrect ain't working in their damn brain.
Group up.
Wow, I'm so dumb today.
Up.
Oh, you're fuzzy wuzzy. Let's not hurt them too bad. Let's make them scream!
When in doubt, English.
Split push.
Howdy, folks. Dirtnap's Dad here. Welcome to another episode of Split Push, episode 18. No peasants rejoicing this time, but hey.
I almost forgot to clap, so I was kind of distracted.
Oh, that's why. But here we got Dirtnap's Dan.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
And we got my buddy Yuki.
What's going on?
And here's Guy.
What's up, everybody?
And last but not least, it's Beagle Girl.
Sup, peeps?
Oh, again, the excitement this week.
I just want to point
You
out.
missed
Had a
all the
bit of a
excitement.
bad
We had a
day,
good first
alright?
episode.
I want to point out. She said peeps.
Don't put them in the microwave, seriously.
I have never tried that. What happens?
Peep aside. Mass
It
peep
goes-
aside.
Boom.
All right, well, there's your tip of the day. Don't put peeps in the microwave.
Could
But
be the grossest
back to
candy
Smite.
ever.
Now, you gotta let them get stale. That's when they're good. But all right, well, let's talk about some games of the week here first. I know I don't know who I want to go first. How about Beagle? Why don't you go first?
Well, to be completely honest, I haven't really been playing much Smite. I guess I just really haven't been motivated, but I guess this game is probably worth sharing. I played, I think this was last night or the night before. Last night, yeah. I was playing with Dan, Dad, Guy, and was it Yuri that was Bracken? Because
Yes.
Yes.
it
Yep.
for some reason
Yeah,
it does
his
not show
name
the
doesn't
name.
show.
Yeah. And I went 10, 4, and 7, and I just kept hitting like these perfect stuns. Like, I think Ymir went to free someone
Oh,
or
that's when you were
something.
ISIS.
Yeah, and every time I kept either silencing or stunning him, and it was like really funny because it just runs at you silence, and then he's like, oh, what?
And if he got his freeze off, I was playing. Oh no, yeah, I was playing Hell, and I just cleansed it.
But yeah, like I said, I haven't really been playing too much Smite lately, so that's pretty much all I got this
Yeah, the Dirt Naps have actually been kind of busy here over the last week, and had some stuff going on. Actually, celebrated my 42nd birthday. I'm getting old, you know. I got my reading glasses.
Yeah,
now.
I'm hardly gonna have.
Happy birthday to
I'm
me.
hardly gonna have any time to play the next 2 freaking weeks. So,
School's getting ready to come back
yeah,
in.
and
Oh no.
dumb people
yeah.
messed up my stuff, so now I gotta go back.
Yeah, Beagle actually has to go to school for 2 weeks before cyber school can start now because the lady didn't receive any of the faxes or didn't say to not reply to the email with the information, to click on this obscure link at the bottom of it with the information. So, yeah. But anyway, how about you, Dan? How many games have you gotten in this week? Anything good on your side?
I got a couple pretty good games in. One I particularly wanted to talk about that was fun was being Bastet in an assault. Because it's just the easiest time there is.
Right.
You jump in, you hit your 2, you hit your 3, you maybe put your ult down, and then you leave. You're good. And you get like 2 or 3 kills out of it. For free.
I know, right? Isn't it
You don't
awesome?
even take any damage, basically. And I was blessed with a 5 physical enemy team. So I started out with Void Shield, and that was just fun.
That's great.
I ended up 9, 3, and 10, and that was a good game.
Dude, I love Bastet. She's freaking amazing.
I also played an arena as Scylla, and let me tell you, I've never seen bots sit in their tower or in their arena fountain this long. I mean, when I say I was Scylla, I was 14, 2, and 25 in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
This game, I had a double kill in their fountain, actually. I ulted somebody and killed them, and ulted somebody with full health to like 10, and then just threw my crush in, and before the slow healing could heal them up, boom.
Yeah, that was a fun game. We played that in last night, us three, along with Yuri and a rando. And Yuri was Kepri and I was Athena.
Oh, yeah.
And Beagle was...
Nice. I totally missed that game. That game was good. I went 17 and 1.
That game was so fun.
I can't believe you didn't remember to talk about your 17 and 1
I don't know.
I
guess
I know. She's sitting here like, I forgot about this game. I'm like,
I was just looking at it and I was like, what the heck? And this poor Ares, man. I think he was like all my kills. Like, I really... He was a beginner. He was a complete noob. He had no idea how to play, and he had defenses, and I had Transcendence, Boots, Crusher, Odysseus Bow, and Tier 2 of Deathbringer, and I critted him so hard, it was not even funny. It was not nice. And he built tank. He built like a tank. But...
I will say, Yuri and I were picking on him early, and between the grabs and the taunts and the...
I was fooled once by his ult.
He didn't seem like he was that bad right away. And then it was like, oh.
I think he was just getting the shit end of the stick, you know? I mean, one time, literally, Yuri and I pinned him kind of off to the side. It was back between their corner tower, our speed buff, and their pillar. Just the three of us, all Guardians. And me and Kepri, we killed him. It took us a little bit, but we did it. No one interrupted until the very end, and it was too late then. We got him killed, and then, but when his allies showed up, so did you guys, and, well, that wasn't good for them.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I went 6 and 2 in that, and then 32 assists in 11 minutes.
I went 17 and
Hey,
1.
I started off getting all the kills in the beginning of the match then.
That is true.
But then you're like, Dad, you're like top kills. I'm like, for now.
Yeah, I think... Wait, how many kills did Dan end up with?
14.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
All she cares about is beating my stats.
Yeah, I think she pointed out that she was top damage over that match, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Neath's top damage over Scylla. I'm, like, not even kidding.
Anyone can hold trigger and walk forward behind an Athena.
Yeah, she was behind me a lot there.
Wow, no, I was not. I was out there on my own.
At the end of the match, I'm like, all right, I'll get another... Oh, damn it, Neath. Oh, damn it, Neath. Like, okay, I'm not complaining too much, but...
No, you kept saying that to Dan, actually.
I was saying it to both of you.
No, you said it to Dan at least, like, 6 times.
Scylla is liable to take any last hits she freaking wants.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't complaining now. I was having... It was a blast. We were just having a blast. That was a really good match. Anything else, Dan?
No, that's pretty much it for me this week. Although I did end up playing Old Joust, and I did pretty good as a Wheelix, and it was fun. But I can't tell you my stats or anything because it's not on Smite Guru.
Oh, yeah. That was, that last... No, not the game I played with you guys, but Dan, you remember the game I played before?
Mm-hmm.
I played with that game with, like, nice people. I mean, we lost, but they were, like, so nice and chill. And they communicated with me, and I was so proud.
A little tear of happiness fall out of your eye.
Yeah.
What about you, Yuki? How your games been on your extended working hours a week here?
I played a game yesterday. It went poorly. So everyone knows I've been working 10-hour days. I work in a machine shop in an unair-conditioned building and helping my aunt move on the weekends. It's been a long one. But the games I've had were pretty good, actually, even though I'm, kind of memeing it up about it. We played a siege yesterday, me and Guy. And Guy, I don't know how your shoulders feel this morning, but that was a hard carry.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard carry.
I played Medusa. Guy was Kuzumbo, and at one point, Guy's nearly dead. He has something like 40 health. I'm just like, run at me, Guy. I have my ult. He's like, I'm not going to make it. And He turns that corner, I turn that corner, double kill. You're gonna make it, man. Gonna make it.
God, that game was so. I
Yeah,
hate Siege. I'm just not a fan of Siege, anyways. But
Yeah.
Same.
The Poseidon and Achilles did their darndest to not feed. They actually both did okay. The Achilles built damage, as apparently everything that's supposed to have defense does this season. And the Poseidon kind of came online. He got pooped on early because they chased kills and their enemy team was really bad. I think that Shock at one point chased me most of the map, so I was just waiting for cooldowns.
and they had a really good early game also.
Yeah, with Soul, Uller, Vulcan, and Shock, yeah.
That hurt me to hear that.
Yeah. And then last week, 5 days ago, thanks, Mike Guru, let me know I haven't been playing. Daniel, remember playing Kamazotz in an assault match where I was Ganesh? I
Oh
think
my god.
Yuri was on
Bracken?
Book My Brain. No. Wow, I can't do this right now. Celtic Guardian.
RTO?
Yes, RDO.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry, silencing my phone at the same time. He was RDO, and man, we did good that game. Beagle was playing on Opwatch, and we had a random Anubis who, if you don't remember, could not land an ability.
No. I've never seen an Anubis miss every ability in his kit, but he did.
Yeah. But we won that one. We still had Beagle on Opwatch, so we did our thing.
I couldn't even tell you how many times I saw him accidentally put his 3 at his own feet. I think I would need 2 hands to count it.
Yeah, and it was a good thing we won that because we had to play against Linkin Park fan, and we can't lose to Linkin Park fans. This isn't 2005.
That would be crawling under my skin forever.
God, we made like 8 of those videos.
Oh, dad joke award. There it
Me
is.
and Yuki made like 6 of them in a row, back and forth.
If we're not careful, they're gonna make us bleed it out. Yeah.
Feed it
Oh,
out.
right. Well, that's
Yeah.
enough of these guys talking.
that's really my game this week. I've played maybe 8 games this week, and nothing super spectacular happened in any of them.
Except for
Well-
you being in them.
Yeah, you know it, baby.
I got some games to talk about. We're going to save Guy for last because he's got the biggest highlight of the week, it sounds like. So, I've been playing a lot, actually, over the last week here, and actually even a few more solo games than normal. And I've also buried the hatchet with someone. Ymir and I are now friends again. He was one of those guys I had played a lot, and every now and then, when you do that, you fall into that rut of playing them wrong, and just getting frustrated with them, not being able to hit abilities, just not being able to do what you're supposed to do. And him and I, we crossed that bridge. Then we burn it and let it go. And I didn't play him for the longest time. I mean, he's like my next highest to diamond, and no, I just don't even care. I'll play somebody else up. But I don't know what it was. Something inspired me. Actually, you know what it was? I played against a good Ymir and it inspired me. I'm like, you know what?
Inspired you, it infuriated you, enraged you, and then made you want to cry.
Yeah, but it also made me want to play Ymir again. So, I'm seeing a lot of Ymir portraits here with a little green line above it. Needless to say, we're back on good terms. So, yeah, I'm seeing dude, we played a Conquest. This one was with the Texan playing Hercules. That's when he was Phoenix diving people, and the first 2 towers were still up.
And
That
winning.
game was great. Yeah, well, yeah, he wasn't dying. That was all just part of the plan. I also played, I played a Thanatos, someone I shied away from. Got him in assault. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I was solo queuing at the time, I think, here, right? Yep. And I didn't do great. I didn't do bad. I went 11-11.
I will be right back.
We won. It was a good game, but, nothing terribly fancy, as Dan falls down. so I had those games. Of course, there was this one game I got to play as Ra. And we were playing in a clash. And this was, looks like 4 of us. Yuri was playing Artemis. Beagle was playing Bologna. I was playing Ra. And good old Dirtnap Dan was playing Nija. Our rando was Ganesh. And while I think matchmaking's been a hell of a lot better since the recent updates, when you're a good player that hasn't played in a mode in forever, it's still not quite on point because it doesn't understand how good you are, and for a mode that you haven't played, I guess. So, little heads up there, you might want to look into that, because we played some Clash and we were just raffle stomping people. This match in particular, I was 6-0 as Ra, and Dirtnap Dan, I mean, he was just displaying some godlike skills as Nija. Right, Dan?
Yes, sir.
There he is. He made it back in time.
Yeah.
Dude, that was one of your best Nija games ever.
The 11-2, the elusive.
Yeah. And those 2 deaths were, about the only 2 they had, just about. Again, we raffle stomped them. It was fun and at the time, but, I kind of felt bad. And then there was this other day where everybody was playing Kuzenbo. And I'm just like, you know what I love? I love playing Kuzenbo and Assault. And I haven't played Kuzenbo and Assault in a long time. And we're just playing different modes, and we, whatever timer's shortest, whatever, and we queued up an Assault, and bam, there was Kuzenbo. I'm like, oh yeah, game on. And when I play Kuzenbo, it's kind of a weird thing, but I just like to build as much health as I can, and that's what I did this match. I think I had 4,200 health, which meant my Nene Kappa was like 895 hit points. They had an Alpoish, Kabrakan, and a Soul, and a Daji, and a Nemesis. And I was just, pop my 2, pop my Thorns. I'll stand in all 3 of yous, Alpoish alt going off, Soul alt going off while Kabrakan's ground pounding. I'm just like dancing in it, But that was actually, speaking of dancing, that was the highlight for me of that match. Middle of the match, 2 forces are coming together again for another fight, and Kabrakan runs out in front of me and just stops and doesn't do anything. And I immediately just busted into my dance, and I'm there dancing with him. And, here comes Dan. Couldn't let him sit there. He got all Discordia boxed up. And, but again, fun game. Love that. But the game I think I really wanted to talk about, since I already talked about my Athena game. All right. I'm going to give two things before I go. First off was the last game I played in Arena last night. We were up against a team of 5 assassins. 5 very mobile assassins. Okay? A lot of stuns, a lot of escapes for them, and it was a tough game. I was playing Vulcan. They were fast, very mobile, hard to hit. I was whipping my out basically as soon as I got it every time, had a good bit of cooldown, and, I was hitting people. I was doing damage, but it was hard to get the kills because, again, they just had so much escapability. And we had one random that was playing Pele. And while they did a shit ton of damage, they also gave the enemy team 50 tickets, dying 10 times, because they thought, I can just 1v5 them. And I don't get that. Why is it in Arena people think they can 1v5? It doesn't work that way, people.
Wait,
it just doesn't.
You can?
And it was all my fault, apparently.
Unless you're Scylla.
Unless you're Scylla.
And their VGS spam was so bad that at the end of the game, it was blinking furiously to report them. And needless to say, they did get 4 reports because it was just like horrible. I tried switching over to, the game chat, like, yo, dude, man, what's going on here? Let's work together and win this. We can do this. We did win, only by 15 tickets, but, it was a close fight. But no, they didn't respond there. It was just, nope, you rock, cancel that. I'm like, all right, well, fine. We can just report you at the end of the game then, if that's the way you want to be. And it was, you rock, cancel that. Okay, goodbye. Went back, talked with my friends, and we won the game. But the game I wanted to talk about is someone that I've played traditionally not very well. And got into this assault. It was just me and Yuri. And he was Zeus, and I was Cernunnos. And we're going along, and I'm doing all right. Nothing spectacular. And next thing I know, here it is. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. I get the quadra kill on Kern. Unfortunately, Yuri had killed the first one and, didn't have the opportunity for the penta. But it was still a really good match. I really felt like for the first time, I was playing him well. And for whatever reason, his basics for me have always felt odd. Like I always seem to miss a little bit off to the one side or another. But, I've been working on just kind of slowing that thumb down on that aim stick. And that's really helped me a lot with him. And, also kind of figuring out how I wanted to play his seasons. But we'll get more into that part later. So that's my games of the week. How about you, Guy?
Well, I had a bunch of good games this week. I actually had a rain day on patch day, so I got to play Classic Joust all day long. Streamed that. Unfortunately,
I was at work watching some of that.
Yeah, I saw you on chat there. Unfortunately, like Dan said, there's no stats on Guru. So, but I played with Guido, and I believe Yuri joined in at some point in time, played some with me. And let me say, Yuri has been hanging out. He's a really cool guy, but that dude has a dark side. I'm telling you. I caught him the other day. I'm on to you, Yuri. But the game I really want to talk about was it was on Xbox, and I was Scylla, and I got a pentakill. So what happened was, we were stomping them. It's really low elo. But I hit my 2 and rooted some people. And hit my crush. And Opwash Aegis. So I had to wait for him. And then I hit him with my ult. And I turned and hit Thanatos. And as I was hitting the Thanatos, the Honor ran right into the ult. So it killed him too. I didn't even realize it killed him. So then I hit the Bologna. And then I believe I caught there was a Giannis trying to run away and got the pentakill. But it happened really quick. A little bit of luck with it too. But we'll take that.
Nice.
So, but like I said, playing a lot of Classic Joust. I'm really enjoying the Classic Joust. I never got to play it when it was out the first time. I was a little late to that party.
Yeah.
So,
it was. Apparently,
Same
it was
here.
on PlayStation.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was definitely after my time that I got there.
Yeah.
So, but really enjoying it. Hopefully we make that a full-time mode. Hopefully don't go anywhere anytime soon. But, I like to keep it short and sweet. That's really about my games of the week.
I only got to play the new Joust map once. And that was, got home today on between birthday earlier in the week after on patch notes or patch day. And then, we had a team meeting last night here for the podcast to, talk things out, see where things are going. But, then that meant there was more than 3 of us afterwards when we started to play. And so I came home today. I'm like, oh, good. Let's play a Joust match before dinner's done. And it was all right. It was a little weird.
Yeah,
And it felt hard to finish compared to the other Joust map. And that kind of made it feel a little wonky for me. Now, I've only played 1 game, but my initial gut reaction was like, I don't know. But in all out honesty, it was just a really weird match because the Raw on the enemy team, every time we're coming up to siege a tower, it was, we just got 2 kills, we're coming up to siege a tower, and he would ult our minions, and they'd all be gone. And it's just like, and it was too early in the game for me to tank the tower effectively.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, you know, it was just, we had to wait till late game, and their chalk was building way too much offense, and I'm like, well, all right, well, you know, you guys are physical heavy, so I'll just buy a second, you know, physical defense item, and all right, chalk, you're no longer a problem. And at the end of the game, I had done almost as much damage as he did with only building one offensive item, and I was like maybe like 800 behind him, and he had like 3 offensive items, not counting boots, which he had the power boots too. And yeah, I'm like, that's not how chalk does his damage. He needs to stay alive to do his damage. And it was one point where Dan's like, be careful going out there. And I'm like, you know, it was just chalk and their Pele. And I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm like, I can kill the Pele at least. And I did. I killed the Pele, and then the chalk thought he was going to get me. I'm like, no, I'm going to leave now. And, you know, you just can't hurt me enough anymore. And that was the case. I actually had a lot of good escapes that match. I think my lowest health that match here this evening was 7 health I saw. Oh, shit. Definitely at 7. And there was one where I got away. I'm at like 60 something, and I still got hit by an axe. Thought I was good in a way, had a wall up and everything, but he managed to clip me with that axe. I still survived. I think I only dropped into the 20s though by that point.
Yeah. Tank should
but overall,
build defense.
it was kind of cool. I hope they fix the bug with the invisible tower, though.
That's so nice. Weird. It got me killed once, and then after I knew it was there, I was all right. But it's very snowbally. If you get behind and you can't make it to any of the sidelines, you can't get your camps, it's over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's a lot harder to siege the Titan room also.
Yeah, because it has that split entrance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll tell you what though, when we got the Phoenix down and, you know, kind of backed off, you know, let's get fire minions, get healed up, and we went down, and when we went in, I didn't think it was hard at all because, well, I just went in and I, you know, chalk ulted me, and as soon as I could, you know, cast a spell, I started ulting, and they couldn't do enough damage to me quick enough, and when my ult went off at that point, full build, I popped them all, including the Titan, and he went down like a rock.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Like I said, that's about all I got, really. I like to keep it short and sweet, boys and beagles.
All right. Boys and beagles.
Boys and beagles.
All right, so this week, Yuki is going to regale us on the art of penetration.
That sounds so dirty.
Right.
You know, when we first started playing this game,
call me daddy.
Yeah.
Every time someone talked about buying, you need more penetration, Dirtnap's mom would giggle. It's like every time, like, what are you guys talking about? It's like, it's so funny that you keep saying that word, penetration.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, no, honey, we're talking about getting through armor to do damage. That's all.
Well, fortunately, in Smite, penetration is in fact that sexy.
It is. It is very sexy because you need it.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
So Beagle's gonna snort cocaine the entire episode.
I'm sorry, my freaking nose is stuffed.
It's all good.
Okay, yes. Beagle, do me a favor. Like, go in the bathroom and, like, get that taken care of. I can't stand it anymore. Y'all at home, you ain't gonna hear her sniffing, because I'm gonna edit that all out. But it's driving me Dirtnap crazy.
Yeah,
I'm just getting ready to start texting here. Who the F is doing this? Because I'm going to choke you.
That's child abuse. I will call child services.
That's hilarious.
I will take back my gems I just bought you.
Not too late for that. I already bought, like, everything. No, I still have, like, 1,500 left.
Hey, by the time this episode comes out, Beagle will be having celebrated her 15th birthday as well. So there we go. Happy birthday,
Happy
Beagle.
What?
Birthday.
Happy birthday, Beagle.
Yeah.
The Beags is getting
That's about
older.
it. No, actually, no. I'm a little
You're
off
dumb.
my time.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
so yeah, I'm a week ahead of I've been doing that all month long. I'm thinking this is the last week. is the last week, like, pay-wise, because next payday doesn't count, because it gets in there after the bank, after the bills hit. So, anyway.
Back to the episode.
Yeah, her birthday will be coming up the end of this week that you're hearing this. There you go. That's what I meant to say. Now, go blow your goddamn nose.
Watch me.
Hey, while she does that, I'm going to come roll a cigarette really quick. I freaking forgot one.
That's fine. He's leaving. I'm talking fucking penetration. I'm barely awake and I had a nap. Alright, so we're going to talk about pen this week. The easiest way to do this is I'm going to do a quick crash course on the basic numbers. The source we use and the source that everybody should read and memorize is Word of Thoth. It's written by Fleurboot, and it gets updated periodically a few times a year. So this most recent one that I found was based off patch 5.8, but there's a literal math behind how all the penetration works. I'm going to try to keep the really dry, really number-oriented stuff quick and at the beginning of this so we can talk more in-game wise as far as how pen works and what you're going to notice, and more just in the game in general versus raw numbers. So the formula for damage taken with the application of pen is damage taken times 100 divided by 100 plus armor. An example of this that we'll use is if you're taking 1,000 damage pre-mitigation, before it gets the number on your screen. So pre-mitigation is, we're going to use the number 1,000, make it really easy. So if you have 100 magical protections, what you're looking at is 1,000 times 100 over 100 plus 100, taking 500 damage. So you just, when you're looking at, if you look at pen at this level, it's just a formula. It's pretty easy. Nothing like super crazy. But, we're not at percentage yet. So when you're looking at adding protections, if you were being hit for 1,000 unmitigated damage while having 120 magical protections, and their example on this one is 120 magic protections, Warrior's Blessing, and while Athena is channeling her Defender of Olympus ultimate on you, granting you 20% mitigation, you will take 1,000 times 0.8 times 100 over 100 plus 120 minus 3, dealing 360.63 damage. So as you see the numbers, when you start adding in abilities on top of items, it gets a little math heavy. But important things is there is an order to which pen is applied. It is percentage reduction, flat reduction, percentage penetration, and then flat penetration. This is, in fact, really fucking dry when you're tired.
And the funny thing is, when I was younger, I was more of a numbers guy, but then when I play games, I play by feel, and so, like, I'm aware of penetration. I couldn't tell you the math behind it to save my life.
Right.
But I'm following along with you here. And
so
it spells
basically,
it out
you're saying
really good on Word of Thoth here.
The executioner is going to be whatever. If you build executioner, that's what's going to come off first, right?
Right. And because, again, we'll go to this. That's pretty much it for the ultra raw number side of it, without giving a bunch of numbery examples. So we're gonna talk about the cap a little bit, and for physical pen and some of the interactions. But this is pretty much, that is it for the super dry stuff, people. Short and sweet. Again, please refer to Word of Thoth to read all this. It makes more sense on paper than someone talking about number, which is why I sucked at math class.
Yes. And I did post a link to Word of Thoth in our Smite theory crafting in the Discord section.
Hell yeah. Okay, so what this really means for us is if you have a Crusher and Void Shield on, Void Shield's going to go off first because it is armor reduction. So it's a flat 20 reduction, and then you get your 20 pen. The best way to think about this as far as your numbers is with flat pen, you will effectively deal that much more damage. So, and I believe the cap for flat pen is 50. Oh, fuck, I closed that page. So, a really good way to think about this is flat pen is effective against gods more than structure. And you're going to see this a lot, like with Thanatos with his passive, or his movement speed buff. Anyways, he has like built-in pen, but pen in the game is a scalable thing. You're typically looking to get your percentage pen on late game because defenses are lower early, and percentage pen, the less defenses a person has, the less effective. So if you think about it, so Executioner at 3 stacks is 33% total penetration, and the easy number to figure this out with is 100. So if someone has 100 defenses, it's the equivalent of about 33 flat pen. So this is where flat pen early game is important because people aren't that tanky yet as far as your tanks, and throughout the entire game it works good on all of your squishies, so your mages, assassins, and other hunters. So, and then with the way it all works now, where it scales up with Titan's Bane and Obsidian Shard, based on the number of defenses, it's not quite as straightforward. There's a sliding scale in there now. But, so, fuck, guys. I'm sorry, I'm really not awake.
Oh,
right,
Yuki.
Oh.
It's okay.
No, I'm just...
Same.
It's a hard subject to wrap your head around at the same time. So, I mean, that's kind of why we wanted to bring it up here. Because, like I said, if you asked me to explain penetration to you, I'd be like, you buy some. Yes. You look, they have armor, you buy some. They don't have armor, you still buy some. Just, they have a lot of armor, then you buy a little more.
So presumably cut a lot of my out. Sorry for your editing this week.
Oh, it's always the joys of editing.
So we're going to look at some really common examples of pen in the game, and so you understand interactions. So if you have flat pen, let's say you have 40% physical penetration and 50 flat pen, you're only getting an effective 70% penetration because the percentage goes down beforehand and then your flat pen. So flat pen with percentage pen works good on structures, which if you want to focus structures, flat pen's always the way to go because you can't stack flat pen on structures. And if you want to kill gods, flat pen early game, and then typically if you want to melt the tanks as well, you're looking at percentage pen as well. But you can get away without using percentage pen if you really want to, if all you're focusing on, which is why assassins rarely build Titan's Bane. They get enough utility out of flat pen in the game. So that's a really, really simple breakdown of pen. Guys, I wish I could put through this microphone exactly how pen works, but there's so much as far as interactions because we have in Smite percentage penetration, flat penetration, protection reduction, and it's just things get wonky without actually doing the math. This is why coaches and players for teams get paid pretty good money to do this because they have to sit down and do all of this math.
Yeah. And then you got the players like me that like, tell me what I need to buy and about when I need to buy it. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess the grand takeaway is a good place to be if you're looking at only flat pen is 40 or 50 mages who deal dot damage, can do really good with Spirit the Magus. Pretty much everybody else, pen blutes plus like Spirit Desolation and Divine Ruin are really good. And then if you're looking for just that maximum burst on the most amount of targets with a mage and damaging structures with your autos, you're looking at Obsidian Shard. Hunters, flat pen's a little harder because they don't get a lot of it through the game typically with the items they buy, but pretty much Executioner's the end-all, be-all workhorse of hunters, and it has been for ages. Yeah, it's pretty much every build. And they're like, we want to give hunters more flexibility in building options, but Executioner still exists. So on Assassins, typically you're getting your pen through one of the swords, like Stonecutting Sword or Heartseeker have pen. Now Katana does, and then like a Jotun's Titan's Bane, if you need to, Crusher, depending on the god. So you're looking through it, and as you notice, Assassins don't typically build percentage. Hunters are all about raw damage, so they use Executioner without a lot of flat pen, which they get through Hunter's Blessing, if I'm not mistaken. They get some 10 pen from that.
No, I don't think
no,
Hunters
that's,
gives
Attacker's
pen. It's
Blessing.
Attackers is pen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll do that a lot in Assault when I'm starting off. In Assault, it's a different beast than most game modes because you really got to pay attention to the healing available, and a lot of people will build lifesteal regardless because you can't go back and heal at the fountain when you want to.
Yep.
Well, you can, but you have to die to do that. So there's a lot of times where I will start off with Attacker's Blessing just because I know I'm going to need that pen. And if there's a lot of healing, I'll go Attacker's Blessing and Toxic Blade. I'm going to have a slower start damage-wise, but I'm going to play a utility role that's very important where I'm still getting damage in with my pen. May not be a lot, but you plop 3 hits on one person, you get your max anti-heal off, and you just change targets and hit 3 over there, and you just keep going around the party. But that gives you a nice chunk of about 20 flat pen right off the bat there.
Yeah.
That you can throw in only one item later, depending on what kind of builds they're going with, with that. Again, it's not the glorious, big damage hunter right off the bat, but, when you're working as a team, you can play a role that way.
Yeah,
right.
It's also,
go ahead, Yuki, sorry.
I say it's also really important to keep in mind, if you're playing and you're like, I should probably be doing more damage, or that doesn't seem like it's hitting as hard as it should, check to make sure you've built pen or enough pen. If it's late game and you've only got 20 flat pen, you're going to blow up like the hunter, but generally speaking, your damage is going to be fairly diminished. Go ahead, guy.
Oh, I was just going to say, I always, just like he was saying, Executioner and Spirit of the Magnus, I just always build those 2 idols. Those seem to be the best.
Yeah, Magus is really strong if you can get all the procs up quickly.
And it is important to note, though, that those items don't stack with allies that have them, correct?
Correct. Pretty much no items in Smite stack. If they do, they've been fixed at this point, which is good, because stacking Rod of Asclepius was ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be. Jeez. But, it's important, still just to kind of throw that out there, because I see matches, in assaults and arenas where, there's 2 or 3 Spears of the Magus out there. I'm like, all right, that's, in this type of mode, you're wasting, here. Someone's got to, make the move. Who's got the best dots? They should probably have it, and you should go another route at that point. So keep an eye out for that. It is important, Now, in other modes like, Conquest, where you're more spread apart for more often than not, then you can get away with that a little bit more, but I'd still caution against it.
And another thing, what about ability-based gods, Yuki? What about that? Are you supposed to build penetration a little bit more with those kind of hunters?
If you're building an ability-based hunter build, we'll be more specific, because ability-based hunter versus AA-based hunter late game shouldn't be a whole lot of different. You're still looking for about the same amount of attack speed because you're still a hunter. You still need to throw autos downrange to win game. But you're going to look for more flat pen. So if you're playing Chiron, especially early, you're looking at a Jotun's Crusher, and then take that and then get your attack speed through other means. Because now with that kind of build, you're looking at Odysseus bow becomes stronger because you're going to proc higher numbers. And you can look for just raw attack speed items instead of like the Executioner, which is still really good in that build because you start swinging at things, you start dealing more damage. But yeah, you're typically looking for flat pen less attack speed when you're going with an ability-focused hunter build. So if you're playing, let's say, Neath mid and more of that mage role, your build pathing is going to be almost the same as a normal ADC, but you're going to look for an item with flat pen early on so that you can get that lane pressure and go find yourself in other places.
Right. I mean, other than armor, is there any other way to counter pin?
Probably the best source of preventing damage in the game is through mitigation. Because we're just talking about kind of the numbers and some other things here. We didn't talk about true damage as a damage source, which ignores armor and typically deals like health percentage. Bacchussaurus Butcher Blades deals 35% of your health every second while you're autoing people. So mitigation it takes that final number after protections and penetration and damage and everything and your effective health have been calculated by the game. It goes, if you have 10% damage mitigation, it just takes a flat 10% of the damage off at the end. But that's armor.
Yeah.
But like pen is really goofy. It applies a little bit differently. It applies the same numbers wise, but as far as when you're playing character, your role makes a difference in what pen you typically take. Like even though I'm not a big fan of Obsidian Shard, you should almost always have it at the end of a mage build for most games and most game modes. Just because you're looking for that big Titan damage, that big objective damage.
So, should you maybe sell off a flat pin item to go with the percent pin?
Yeah, if you're at that point in the game, if you're at a late enough point in the game where you can sell off a full item, like a full tier 3, you're definitely going to look to sell it. Sometimes your flat pin comes through bridge items like Aussie or like Dynasty Plate Helm, and those are going to get sold off anyways. If you notice, those are both Hunter and Mage items, which typically they're bridge items, they're tier 2s, typically have flat pen attached to them because it's a bridge item, whereas Executioner and Kin Size are more expensive and your powerhouse and workhorse items in the game.
So I have a question. If you're going up against someone that is building a heavy pen build, and how is building health to maybe counter that? A little less armor but a little bit more health. Do you think that helps balance that out and kind of counter it, or is that
helps against percentage? So the less physical protection you have, the less penetration they're getting from an Executioner or Titan's Bane. If you build a lot of health, but only 40 protections and they've got 40 flat pen, then all their damage is getting through. But if you build less health and more protections, it kind of gets to about the same, depending on your protections versus health. If someone's building a lot of pen, a lot of flat pen, damage mitigation is really the way to go. Or just a shitload of health, because again, there's a physical cap, which I believe is 50 or 60. So if you build over 50 or 60 protections, their flat pen doesn't matter anymore. And at that point, you're only going to gain more, less damage taken by buying more armor and or health. Until they buy, percentage penetration, and then they just eat your shit alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something you got to pay attention to what your enemies are building and so forth. I mean, if there's 3 hunters on the enemy team in an assault match and they all have kins, you don't necessarily want to be Kuzenbo with 4,200 health.
Right.
No.
Not necessarily at all, no. Although if I'm Kuzenbo, I still build health, and I'll challenge you to actually catch me. Because my Nene's doing all my damage out there for me. I'm just standing back and dancing.
So it's a really heavy topic, guys. I know it's
I actually have another question.
Go for it.
As a tank, actually, on the tank side, when is it better to sell defenses? Is there a point where they built so many percentile but no flat that you should sell your defenses?
God, that'd have to be. So each item that has percentage reduction for let's say the physical tree here and magical tree works the same way. They're only going to gain so much, and it's only per person. So it's not like it's not stacking. So you're like, if they're all building, if you got 5 assassins with Titan's Bane, you're a tank. You can build less defense, or probably the better way to go would just be to overcap the limits of Titan's Bane damage, where it no longer reduces more damage, but where it's its cap for the maximum damage reduction it's going, or the maximum penetration it's going to gain, and just exceed it with defenses. I mean, like, that's a question probably for more of like a solo laner who's going to build a little less defense anyways. In which case you're more concerned about flat pen. This is a really complicated topic, which is why we wanted to talk about it. But at the same time, we knew there was going to be a little bit of us stumbling around, mostly me.
Yeah. So again, I will, just throw out there that, the Word of Toth, there's a link in the Discord in the theory crafting area. I just made sure I pinned it so you can always find it in there. You want to dig into the numbers, it's all spelled out here, like literally, 1.1.1.1.1.1, and protections and damage mitigation. There's the math equations. There's, the breakdowns, everything that we've discussed here today, along with mathematical examples. So you can see the math's a little hard to look at if you're not very good at it, but at the same point in time, it gives you enough description that you can get from the beginning to the end and kind of get a good feel for it anyway. And, there's a lot of times where I've read all this before, and I've gone in, I've read it, I don't understand it, but when I play the game, I'm better. Because it's in your noodle. That's all, you just got to get it in there. You don't have to directly access it in a game. You don't have to sit here and say, all right, well, if I'm doing about 1,000 damage, times 0.08, times 100 divided by 100 plus 120, and then take all of that, sum minus 3. Oh, all right, I did 360.63 damage.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, it's more important that you know how it works, but not specific. You don't need to know the numbers. You just need to know that percentage pen, good against structures and lots of defense. Flat pen, good against squishies, and early game against everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just the fact that, yes, you need it if you want to do damage.
Yes, you. Watching a Scylla and Assault build upwards of 880 power with no pen, not hurting a fly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I often, where I see it the most is in crit builds. They don't build any pen. It's like, oh, you still need to get some pen in there.
And typically it's through Executioner. Crit's a whole different thing because crits amplify damage. And of course you're going to do more with pen, but typically if you're going for a dedicated, like, triple crit build on a hunter, you're going to do a shitload of damage anyways because it's crit. But that's the RNG versus the math of penetration. I think it adds up to about the same.
Does help and make it better because then you're less reliant on the RNG side of it.
Right.
Because I've seen games myself, and with allies playing, I have 2 crit items. I haven't crit in the last minute.
Yeah. Crit will always do more damage. But like power pen builds are just consistent, and consistent, at a higher level plays way better than RNG. But man, if you're in the zone with a hunter and that RNG loves you that game, a crit build will do astronomically more damage than a power pen build.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our talk this week about penetration. Again, the link for Toth is posted in there, and feel free to, chat us up. We'll continue to have discussions about it, or if you want like specific, more specific examples of, here's what I did, is this the right order or whatever, bring it up. We'll talk about it. We've starting to see a little bit more of that type of conversation going on, as time goes on here. And I really enjoy it. Another subject in there, but we were talking about some today and had a good little discussion on a couple different items. So, feel free to hop into the Discord and, we'll figure it out one way or another.
I'm also going to get Duke's Lost video on Pen. I might create a new channel for like the info channel is a separate thing as like for Duke's Lost videos. Like if we talk about Pen, we'll put up his thing. Because that man, he's a special kind of butter. Because man, he's really good at explaining this stuff. Like I understand everything I'm talking about with Pen. I just can't make the words come out of my mouth.
Right. How is this guy? How is he not a coach somewhere?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd love to ask him. Hey, Duke, why don't you come on the show?
We'll put that one down. That's my question.
All right, so let's move on to this week's Session of Progression. Whee! Where we're going to talk about Cernunnos, or Cernunnos, Cern or Kern, however you like to say it. And guess what? I'm not going to forget that we start off with the lore, so you ain't done hearing Mr. Tired Yuki talk yet.
All right.
Back to it, Yoni.
Cernunnos, the creepy horn hunter dude from Smite. It's a name. We don't know the exact derivation of that name as far as the god in mythology, because a lot of times it's just referred to as the horned god in the different Celtic mythologies. But he is the Celtic god of fertility, life, animals, wealth, and the underworld. As we do more of these, some of y'all might start to notice there's some really out there shit associated with a lot of different gods. It's like, because it makes sense. We got fertility, life, animals, and pre-monetary cultures like we have right now with capitalist societies and the way our current world runs. Animals, and lots of them, equaled wealth. The more land, the more animals you had, the more produce you could create, the more money you had. And the underworld at the end of that, which is really weird. So the name, like I was talking about a second ago, for Cernunnos is attested to only once in what we have written down. And it is from the 1st century, Pillar of the Boatman, which appears all over Gaul. So it's a story about Cernunnos and some other stuff. That Gaul would be your Germanic region, so like Germany, Austria, Hungary, that area was what made up most of Gaul. And the name Gaul comes from the Romans. Cernunnos is depicted with antlers of a stag, sometimes carries a purse filled with coins, often seated cross-legged, and often associated with animals holding or wearing torques, which a torque is the little bracelet or necklace you'll see in Scotland, Ireland, and other Celtic, where it's woven strands of brass or copper or bronze, and then little balls on the end. So think the magic magnet bracelet from like 2002. So he's Celtic mythology we know a little bit about, not a crap ton, because the Romans did a really good job wiping out not just the religion, but the people who practice it. But I do think Smite did a very good job with the translation of the lore and what they used for his ability animations and the names of the abilities and the effects. So, thumbs up to Iris for that one.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty. So, now that we know a bit more about the background here behind Cernunnos, let's talk about his abilities. So, who's got him this week? Dan, you got him?
I got it. All right, Cernunnos is first up, not second up. First up is Heavy Glaive. Cernunnos wields a glaive as a weapon. His basic attacks deal damage to all enemies in melee range while he is throwing it. The additional damage from Heavy Glaive does not trigger any item effects or abilities. It also cannot critical strike. The damage is 25% of your basic attack damage. His first ability is Shifter of Seasons. Cernunnos imbues his glaive with the power of the 4 seasons. Activating this ability rotates him through 4 different bonuses to his basic attacks. Spring Growth is bonus physical lifesteal, Summer Heat is bonus damage, Autumn Decay is a debuff for protections, and Winter Chill is a slow for 1 second. The lifesteal scaling goes from 5 to 15%. The decay on protections goes from 5 to 25. The Summer Heat stance does 5 to 25% of your physical power, or 5 to 25 plus 5% of your physical power, sorry. And the Winter Chill does a slow from 17 to 50, or 7 to 15%. I can't English.
Same.
Alright, next up is Bramble Blast. Cernunnos fires a bramble and forward in a line that shoots us. What the hell?
That roots, not shoots.
Ooh,
Okay,
everybody's
I'm just going to start that one over.
Yeah.
Bramble Blast. Cernunnos fires a bramble forward in a line that roots a single enemy hit. Upon hitting an enemy wall or reaching max range, it will explode, dealing damage and spawning an area of brambles at the location. This area deals damage every 0.5 seconds and persists for 5 seconds. The initial damage is 40 to 200 plus 75% of your physical power, and the area damage is 4 to 20 plus 5% of your physical power, and the root duration on the hit is 1 second. His next ability, his 3, which is his escape, Horn Charge. Cernunnos charges forward, damaging and crashing through all types of enemies. Its damage is 70 to 290 with 80% of your physical power. Last but not least, the Wild Hunt, Cernunnos' ultimate. Cernunnos selects an area where the Wild Hunt will begin. After a 1 second delay, enemy gods in the area will be damaged and polymorphed into wild boars. Polymorphed gods are silenced and disarmed. Polymorph is not affected by diminishing returns. The damage is 200 to 400 plus 90% of your physical power, and the polymorph duration is 2 seconds.
Hell yeah, and I scream, I'm a pig.
Yeah. His ult's one of the coolest animations in the game. I mean, like if you hit 5 people, you got 5 little pigs running around. It's great.
He's super strong, I think. I find he's a really strong god.
So, Dan, did you notice anything about his dash horn charge? Did you notice anything stand out to you?
90% physical scaling.
80%, 290 damage. It does so much damage.
Yeah, and it runs through everybody.
Yep.
It does have a pretty significant cooldown, though. I'll give it that.
And it's fast. Yeah. It's so fast.
It hits hard.
Yep. It's nearly instant and ignores shit. It'll
hit you way harder than you thunk it might.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So, Cernunnos, I'm going to give some quick oversight. So when he was originally released, they kind of wanted to make a hunter that could kind of do jungle things, which is why his base damage and scaling is pretty high. It's why his passive is the bonus damage. So if you're a Cernunnos, you want to throw the brambles, keep the buff monsters in the AoE of Bramble Blast and auto them up close, because you can pretty much kill all 3 creeps in a buff camp at the same time just by focusing autoing the big one, and the bonus damage from his passive will kill the others.
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
Don't underestimate that passive. That is something that I know. I think it was the Trials of Hercules adventure. Kern was a really big pick on that because you could just get mobs of monsters together, and he could just stand right there and just chew through them with that passive.
Yeah, and also it works on towers.
Yep, you get bonus damage on the towers as well.
Get right up there, That's why you got the dash, because, when they surround you, you can dash right through them and get the hell out of dodge.
I will put out there that Cernunnos Jungle is not good, however, it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely not good.
I don't know, man. Pick that bitch, root him, and just stand on top of him and say, "Let the hunt begin."
He really excels in duo lane. He just his 2. I mean, it's like a free item on any one of those things you want it to be.
Oh yeah, the shifter season's the 1.
Yeah, you hit them with the debuff, and then you flip it 3 times to the extra damage, and you just kill people.
Yeah. Or if someone pokes you in early game, you switch over to blue, which is the slow, and hit them with that slow. So they're trying to walk back while your minions are just destroying them. 7% slow when nobody has boots and they're in the middle of your minion wave. It was a lot of free damage.
Yeah, hit them with that free Frostbound Hammer proc and kill them.
I like I said, in my games of the week, I just, as soon as I run out, I'm in autumn. That's where we're starting. I'll get a couple hits on, then I pop over, hit them with the Frostbound. Now they're debuffed and slowed, and then I can pop, I can either do some lifesteal if I'm hurt, or I can pop into summer and, pick up the extra damage, and then cycle right back to, autumn, again. So you just got to find that nice little rhythm there with it. But I think starting on your autumn or the third stance of it, which is yellow, does really, really well for him. Even if you're just passing, through blue, just for one attack, to hit them with that, gets them slowed down. And like Yuki said, going back to positioning talk, you catch someone out of position, just hop over to the blue real quick. And now they're out of position and they're going to take a long time to get back into the right position.
Yeah, he's interesting because Bramblebrass is upgraded first for the clear, but man, in any mode where you're not farming's not super ultra important. Like you can go with it in Clash, Siege a little bit, Arena definitely. Prioritize that one. Just Summer Heat. If you hit that, that's 25 plus 5% physical power for damage for free. It's a free stat. Free stats are always really strong.
Freaking
you can do some crazy
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. and I'll admit, when I first started playing Kern, I didn't focus the one on the build up at all. And that's why I struggled in the beginning too. I'm like, just like, oh, I really should have probably put some more points into that earlier, haven't I? Huh?
And it's a little tricky to use. I mean, you got to get the timing down.
Where you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most of his skins, he changes color to go with it. So, you don't have to look at the ability. You just got to get used to the colors for the skin that you're using.
Yeah.
Oh, that newest skin he's got is so nice. What is it, Hellscape?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, he's got some really good skins.
Yeah, he does. Another interesting thing with him is one. God, you could just spend the entire episode talking about his one.
Right.
If you're in dual lane and you're playing as a Cernunnos and they've bought Aussie, don't box them. Because if they stay in the lifesteal stance and they have Aussie, it's so incredibly hard to kill a Cernunnos with Aussie.
Yeah, that attack speed's important with Cernunnos.
Yeah, well, the attack speed, the lifesteal from Spring Growth on top of the Aussie, he gets, by that point, you're looking at, he's got 7.5% on top of Aussies for lifesteal, and you're just boxing no bueno.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a rough one. So, again, kind of looking at the combos, which we kind of really haven't got into too much. I mean, typically, like I said, I want to be in that 3, but the first thing I want to do is hit him with that Bramble. So I'm in 3, hit him with the Bramble. That's going to allow me to more easily land my debuffs on them. Now they're debuffed and they get unrooted from the Bramble, but they still got to get out of the Bramble. They're now they have decreased physical protections while they're in it. And then if you can get those, your 3s in, then you pop, or I'm sorry, the autumn in, get that. I can English too now, can't I? God damn it. I'm just like getting all these numbers out here. I feel like we're talking about penetration again. But, so anyway, you hit them with the Bramble, you're hitting them with the debuff on your 1. You hit them with the winter when the root's wearing off. Now they're slow trying to get out of the Bramble, so you get that full maximum effect out of it. And if you can, you get right up on there with them with that passive, and you can really start to dig into them. And when you get in trouble, or they're trying to get away, you got your 3, which does a ton of damage and is like an instant escape. I mean, you're there and then you're not. And obviously, the alt's just fun in games too.
Yeah, he's a hunter. If you're boxing and it's close, it feels really awkward. But man, Cernunnos is one of those. Instead of trying to create space and use autos at range to win a fight, sometimes just getting right up on him for that bonus damage from the passive will make the difference. He's one of the few hunters I'll be like, this is getting close, and just charge the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like the aggressive nature of him, and that's why I've been wanting to play him more and get a little bit better with him. And when I got him the other day, I'm like, you know what? I'm sticking with him, and I'm going to do better on my autos. And
yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, he does have an aggressive kit, and I think a lot of that comes again from that whole kind of meant to jungle thing. His kit wants you to use your dash to get in. It wants you to ult, Bramble Blast, get in there and just smack him. Although it almost makes me wonder if he wasn't a hunter at some point.
Yeah. Although I would not recommend using his dash to get in.
No. Because
the cooldown is way too long on that, because if you get in trouble, you ain't using it to get out.
Yeah.
It's basically a once a fight type thing.
Yeah. Even at max rank, it's 13-second cooldown. It's long.
What about builds for him? I know we kind of breezed over a few things here, but Dan, you're one of the better carries. How do you like to build this guy out?
I like to build Cernunnos super ability heavy. That way, basically the ability damage gives my yellow stance a shit ton of extra damage, and then I get free pen through my one, so I don't have to build as much pen. I can build a Bloodforge instead, which is much more power.
He benefits a lot from Aussie in that early mid game because of his stance change with the health in there. Oof, the health, the lifesteal in the green stance, and also it gives you power pen. It's an item because it's a low lifesteal item, but has attack speed, and pen. It kind of benefits everything he does. After that, typically you're looking at typical hunter, like a trans on him is comically powerful.
Yeah.
It gives so much damage to his kit because he has such high scaling. Executioner, kin size. I don't really like crit on him.
I'll tell you what, I love attack speed on him, but that's mostly because of his animation.
Yeah. Throwing that big ass glaive. An item that would be really strong on him if it saw more buffs would be Runeforge, because his blue stance procs Runeforge, his Bramble Blast procs Runeforge, and his ult procs Runeforge. So if you build around it, and I've tried it, it's not horrible, but it's not good. It's not optimal. Gotta start using that word now. But if Runeforge gets a little bit of a buff, man, it might be a kind of a go-to item for me in certain situations, because that CC, you apply CC so effectively and consistently at yourself that it allows you to just get that bonus damage from Runeforge.
All right, so now that we know how to play him, we know how to build him, when you're up against him, what do you got to consider? Well, one thing I know is you got to understand that dash has that long cooldown, and don't use your big wombos on him until he has dashed, because if you try,
he's gone.
In that, it only takes a split second for him to be gone. He sees it that he's standing in the middle of a big circle. It don't matter. He's gone. So understanding that once his dash is down, that he's vulnerable. That's when you want to, pull out the big stuff for him. But, if his dash is up, expect that you're going to miss, and that, he's going to dash out of it.
I'm gonna say good counterplay for him, honestly, is 90% of the time, people just stay in the green stance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of people that just stay in green. And
man, you can play into that. So he's going to have more lifesteals. So you almost can ignore the other 3 effects. Like, oh, is he going to do bonus damage? No. Is he going to slow me? Probably not. But he's going to lifesteal. So you anti-heal him if you want. He's interesting. He's a hunter. You want to stay at range.
That's like what I would do when I first started playing him, because I didn't know what it did. Because I was like dumb and like would not and just didn't read it and just like I was just like, I'm just gonna stay at this one. I don't know. I always thought it was like a buff or something, and then I realized that I like changed colors. I was like, oh my god, how did I never notice that?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Yuki's right, and Beagle's experience speaks for it. A lot of people that are newer to him just kind of stick to a season and don't change it as much.
I think a lot of people in general.
Yeah, I mean, pay attention to that. You know, if they're sticking in a green, you want to get some anti-heal. You know, if they're sticking in winter, you know, maybe, what is it, Wing Blade, where you get the slow immunity? There you go. Well, so just kind of keep that in mind on pay attention to how they're using their one, because that'll key you into their playstyle a lot and help you counter build to what their playstyle is.
Yeah, also, just remember that Cernunnos is very aggressive in early game because he has free lifesteal.
And damage, and
yeah.
And a slow.
Right, and a slow.
And a slow.
And he wants to get up in your face and use his passive, so, you know.
He could turn you into a pig. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
A Minecraft pig.
All doesn't do... I mean, it does decent damage, but... He doesn't have any CC immunity in his kit, so he could be... I guess the best way to play against the Cernunnos is lock him down. I mean, he doesn't have... Once his dash is out, he has no immunity to his ult or any other abilities.
Yeah, and even if you do root him and he dashes, he's still going to be rooted wherever he dashes too, so just, there's another, keep that in mind.
Yep.
So, CCs do work good against him because he doesn't have that CC immunity. And also just, early game, give him some space. Don't get up in his face because he's going to win that battle every time.
And Bramble Blast has a big-ass AoE.
Big AoE.
It is a big AoE.
Didn't they shrink that down, actually, at one point?
Yes.
Because,
when he came out, he was broke. When he came out, he was broke.
He was super broken.
Super broke. It took him forever to nerf him. He was banned every time in Worlds last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so... Then we get down here to some of his skins. We already mentioned that he's got some good ones. He's got the Cursed King, if you're a fan of Beauty and the Beast. He's got his Hellscape, his demonic side. They got the Krampus one. That one's pretty awesome. The little kid in the basket in the back. I love it.
Right.
Probably my favorite, though, is Pixel Beast.
Yeah.
I mean, that when I first time I got alted by a Cernunnos that was playing the Pixel Beast skin, and I turned into a Minecraft pig, I wasn't mad at all. I thought that was the greatest time I had ever got alted by anybody. I'm just like, this is so awesome.
Hold me again.
My favorite skin is Krampus for completely different reasons. It doesn't telegraph the stance. So the Krampus skin shows the least amount of color other than like his default model between the stance changes. So if you're using the stance change a lot, you can hide that from people because there's less obvious, telegraphed color change. Where Pixel Beast, he frickin' changes what color he glows.
Yeah, I think the same thing with the Beauty and the Beast one. It really shows up really well what color you are.
The whole jacket.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do like his Warden one too. I mean, it's nothing really fancy, but he's a little more beefy.
I have that one. It doesn't impress me much. I don't really, but I mean, I still use it because it's the only skin I have. Actually, I have his recolor too, but still, I don't know.
Yeah, he seems like he's one of those guys that'll probably be a little bit harder to come up with good skins for all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've hit the nail on the head so far, but I could see him definitely running into a roadblock here. But looking at this Pixel Beast reminds me that I want to resurrect a skin for another god. I want to see the Pixel Daji, because she needs to have a nerd pull of dirt that she goes up onto. Yeah, come on, high res.
Or like a Minecraft
it.
tree just shoots up.
No,
Something
it's
like
just
that.
the Daji stripper skin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll go with the Pixel one. I want to see the nerd pull of dirt.
Oh, yes, I need a stripper skin with a swag knee running around with her. Oh my god, hell yeah.
Dude, special interactions. I guess they could have
Alright.
voice line interactions.
All right,
Great.
boys.
No.
All right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up here for session and progression. Any closing thoughts, anybody?
He's
I
the
think
only
I'm
hunter
good.
where Frostbound's almost effective.
Don't underestimate his ult. It is a great initiator.
Yeah.
Teamfight
Don't
initiator.
underestimate the blue stance ever.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, hey, per usual, feel free to hop into the Discord again, and, we got our little session and progression section in there. We're, again, more than willing to discuss details and help you learn a little bit more about how to play, or hey, maybe you got something we missed that you want to share. Feel free to pop in there and let it on out.
That's right. Get in that Discord. Get your butts in here.
Whoa. All right. So that pretty much sums up everything there. So next thing up is to hop on over to the old community section. Are you ready,
I'm
B?
getting it up
The
now.
old community section.
I finally...
There we go. Now we're back to normal. Now she's pulling it up.
I finally have Discord on my phone because I now have room. And oh my god, these are so long. Again. People suck.
Hey, considering it's get ready to go back to school time, this seems like a good week for some longer.
I'm not a
Good job,
fluent
Phoebe.
reader, alright?
Some word
We're good.
practice.
Let's make a new hashtag. Hashtag make Beagle read.
No.
Yeah.
If you want to make me read, instead of reading books, I'll just turn the subtitles on when
Let's
I watch
just make
Supernatural.
these community section answers longer, please.
No. Okay. So this week's community challenge was we wanted to hear your stories about when and how you met people in Smite that you became friends with. Sorry. First we have Yuri's answer here, or Evie in the Discord. Okay, fine. Thanks for that. I met everyone through the most roundabout way. I was watching random Twitch streams when I saw... I don't even know how to say that. Z-Callum. Okay, gotcha. When I saw Z-Callum streaming, he went offline and hosted Willow. Willow posted the links to all 4 Discords. Split Push, BOTG... BOTGG.
Battlegrounds of the
Battlegrounds. Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, I know what that stands for, right? Yes. I'm sorry. I tell. Ah!
Wow, none of us can English
I
tonight.
say words.
I'm sorry.
That had
I'm
to
like,
be the best one,
again.
though, I have to say.
I love that.
I'm super tired. I can't English, and my day was complete garbage.
That next
So I'm
word
like-
is verbose.
I don't know. I wasn't even saying the right letters.
Verbose. Verbose game. Verbose Smite.
And Side Quest Arcade. I just started playing with everyone, had a blast playing Smite with everyone on PS4. I am actually interested in playing Xbox and PC players too. Kind of want to learn more from everyone for Smite.
Hell yeah.
I'm watching you, Yuri.
I'm sorry, I can't read.
So, next up is EMS Girl 89. Well, I know Yuki, and he got me into playing Smite. From there, everything unfolded, and that was about 2 years ago, I think. But it's been a crazy roller coaster of making friends and cracking jokes. So, Ems is one of my IRL friends, and I'm like, ooh, you play video games? Met her at work? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, play Smite. But no, play Smite. But what I like to play, I don't care, play Smite. So now she plays Smite.
And
No.
Fortnite.
I don't think you understand. I don't care. Play Smite.
Whenever you're playing, you're wrong. Play Smite.
That's That's what I tell all my friends.
Destiny.
I'm playing this game now. Play Smite.
Destiny? No, your destiny is to go play Smite.
Oh my god.
Who's up next, Beagle?
Okay, next up we have Nevea. A couple of years ago, I was playing as Afro in an arena. I was on this team with the best balloon I've ever played with. I sent them a message after the game saying something like, GG, you were the best balloon I've ever played with. And he said, thanks. You were a great Afro. Want to party up? And I usually get nervous about stuff like that, but I said sure because he came across being a really nice, positive and upbeat person. We became Xbox friends that very day, and we played a crap ton of Smite together after that. He's moved away from Smite recently, but we'll party up a couple of times a month and play some Overwatch together. Really cool dude and proof that not everyone you come across in Smite is salty. I feel the same way sometimes. Like, random people will be like, yo, you want to party up? And then I'm like, ugh, I have to talk to someone I don't know. So, like, if they don't have a mic, I'm like, yes. Because talking to people I don't know is not my best thing because my people skills are rusty. Yay, I got to use a supernatural thing.
Gotta work in your supernatural bits, huh?
Yes, I do.
Your Twitter stream is literally, I love you, Misha. I love you, Misha.
I was about to ask who's Misha. Wow, I'm so dumb today.
Yes.
I'm dumb today. I'm not even...
Yes, you are.
I'm telling Misha you didn't know who he was.
Yep.
You're not, because you're not ever going to get to meet him.
He'll never love you now.
I won't need to get to meet him. I will be famous enough to talk to him, and he'll be lucky to have done it.
This week on Beagle's Supernatural podcast, we talk about Misha Collins. Let's go, Misha Amigos. Rally here.
Oh my god.
We must kill the ghost, Misha Amigos.
Mr. Nep is next up. Ended up joining the VD2 clan back in the oldie years and just solo queue all my matches until Fro randomly sent me an invite and I joined. Since then, we had fun playing and I got introduced to many more people from the group as time has gone on. On a side note, I randomly played with Dicey Victory through queuing up Medusa's adventure. We were enemies and I destroyed his Xingtian. Oh, poor Dicey.
Oh. And Vio chimes in with a laugh out loud. Dicey got wrecked.
Get wrecked.
He got wrecked right out of my Smite world.
Alright, Dan, what's the doctor have to say?
Why did you have to throw this on me right at that second?
Why?
I was looking at something else for that 1 second.
Because I said so. That's why. Now do it, damn it.
Do it,
Talk
Dan.
about the doctor.
Not sure if I will get this in. Well, guess what, buddy? You freaking did. But I met all of you via VD2. At the beginning, I wrote in quite often. I was bored working from home and put a message on the VD2 Discord. Yuki responded. Then we played the rest of the day. Through him, I met the Dirt Nap crew, Dicey, and Guy. Then you all started making a podcast.
Yeah. Remember that Dicey was like, anybody, or not Dicey, sorry. The doc's like, anybody want to play? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on, get your ass in here. And then him and his little, his group of, if I'm not mistaken, a brother and a friend, freaking used to play a lot. I haven't seen as much of them, but Doc, I'm here, man. Come back.
All right, another one from the doctor. I'll take this one, Beagle, since you're a whiner.
How am I a whiner? You're a whiner.
Don't worry. The ambulance is on its way. Another that I met from Twitch. My cousin Wooby and I started Twitch streaming when we first got this game because we thought we could hit it as big as Incon. There we go. So my cousin, when dying in Smite, likes to scream all manner and portmanteaus of curse words. He frequently likes to use it.
It's portmanteau.
I don't give a fucking shit.
It's portmanteau.
How about that for a portmanteau of curse words?
Same, Dan. It's okay.
Oh my god. That is a synonym with rooster and maybe an action or ailment as a suffix.
Oh my god.
A person watching the stream named Phantom thought this was fucking hilarious. He asked to join a group, join up with us. This was the first time we ever joined with someone on Twitch, so we're nervous he might suck or be weird or whatever. He ended up being very familiar with Smite via Xbox, which he had played extensively, even though he was under level 30 on PS4. He was way better than us and pretty much carried all of our games. He was hilarious too. Now he only plays Fortnite. So that's too bad.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh yeah,
Promise,
totally.
that's what it says.
The doc's worried about joining up with someone from Twitch because they might suck or be weird or whatever. Doc, you play with us.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't think you're afraid of the weird.
You've already been done fucked up for weird.
All right. So one other thing I wanted to throw out here during our community section, and that is, hey, Buribus Gaming has started a weekly conquest tournament on the Xbox. Hey, if you got a team and you're on Xbox and you want to have some fun, play some conquest and some tournament style for some fun prizes and stuff like that, man, check them out. I'll make sure to include a link to their Discord here, in our community section for y'all as well.
Hell yeah.
As far as our next week's community challenge, Dan this week thought of a good one. We want to know, out of all of these new skins that have poured in here with whatchamacallit?
Divine Uprising.
Yes! Divine Uprising. I can remember English too.
There's been some good ones.
What is your favorite skins out of the Divine Uprising? Because I believe...
This episode on dementia.
Huh? What are we talking about?
Where am I?
Who the fuck are you people and why are we laughing?
Oh, hi. My name's Todd.
Hi, Todd. My name's Guy.
But yeah, anyway, what are your favorite skins out
I
here?
think my
know...
name's like Husky Guy or something. I don't know.
I want a husky.
Oh my
No.
god.
Dan,
Oh,
you're
God.
just a hobbit.
Ouch.
Ouch.
I'm gonna go into my
Harsh.
mound in the ground now.
Oof.
It'll be okay, Mr. Frodo.
Oof. Big
So,
oof.
so
I'm
So
going
the-
home to my mound in the ground
the
now.
question then is, what's your favorite Divine Uprising skin? Yes?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yes. And go ahead, Yuki.
Oh, go ahead. Finish up.
Well, I was just going to say the other thing I wanted to throw out there is we've been talking about this karaoke episode, and we have some ideas brewing. So
What did I sign us up for?
Right.
I want you all to just start thinking. This isn't any particular community challenge yet, but I want to give you a heads up on this because you might need some time to kind of think about some things. But
I might need some therapy afterwards.
yes, she might. Well, anybody hearing me sing might need some therapy afterwards. But
No, that's why I drink.
yes, you might need some drinks too, yes. I want you to start thinking about songs that you would like to see Smite parodies of, and get some ideas and let Dirt Nap Dan know, because he's really good at, you want to hear a song? You want to hear this song about this god? I got your back.
Mhm.
Give me a couple days, I'll have something for you. So what we're thinking of doing here is creating some Smite parody songs, creating karaoke versions of them, and then, we can all, us and you, we can see about doing some singing and having some fun with it a little bit here down the road. So we're starting to cobble together what we're going to do with this. And we've had some exciting ideas this week, so I'm really getting kind of excited to kind of really get this ball rolling now.
So it's
Guy's
like,
excited because I told him about his
Yeah,
song.
it's like weird Dan Yankovic then, is that what we're saying?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I've joked that, hey, I have my dad. Then when I was about 12 years old, I found out I had a biological father. But in reality, I know I have a third father, and it's Weird Al. It is.
Yeah.
I could have written albums for this man over the years. I was telling the guys I really wish I would have wrote down my song that I had for Adele's "Rolling in the Deep" because it was one of the best fart songs ever. It was, and it's just a shame that I don't remember it anymore. But really looking forward to getting some Smite parody songs in here going. I used to play Minecraft a lot, and there was a lot of great Minecraft parody songs. And, that's kind of what, got me going down this road when we started joking around about having a karaoke episode. So, figure out your song that you want, figure out the God you want, feel free to parody it up yourself, or shoot the idea over to Dan, say, hey, I like this song and I like this God. What can you do for me? And we'll see what we can do.
Hell yeah.
And also, an announcement for next week, just so everyone remembers, we have Ryan Bailey, a.k.a. High Res Aggro, coming on. So don't forget to drop your questions there in the old guest questions segment. And it's going to be a little different than what we've had before. It looks like, because of the schedule, it's pretty much going to be a Q&A, a long Q&A, but a Q&A with them, and not so much of our typical, we're going to cover the God and everything with their input and them being involved in that. That might change, but from what it looks like right now, it's just going to be a big old Q&A. So let's get some good questions in there for them, and poke it to high res.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a little bit of his alter ego aggression out of him.
Right, GG Titan Forge. Can't say GG high res or low res anymore. God, what are we going to do without calling him low res?
Midget
I don't know,
Forge.
We'll have to figure something out, I guess.
Midget Forge.
Minion Forge.
GG
You
Minion
ain't the
Forge.
Titan, you're the minion.
Minion Forge. I like it.
All right.
Forge.
Anything else out here before we get ready to wrap on up?
No.
Long live Minion Forge.
Well, you heard it
Not
here
really.
first. All right. Well, hey, Yuki, how can people get a hold of you these days?
You can get a hold of me at Ryukutsu Yuki. So that's Ryukutsu_Yuki, because I'm stupid today.
Same.
On the PlayStation.
Okay.
On PlayStation 4, send me requests. We'll hit it up, play, say hi, I really don't care. You can find me on Twitter at YukiGaming22. I'm getting better at posts and stuff, building some followers, which feels really freaking weird.
Oh.
And, find us on the Discord, where you can always at me in Discord and ask me really dumb things. I'll give you really dumb answers, I promise.
Yeah, he will. And if he's on his phone, there's going to be a ton of misspellings, too, that you have to decipher through.
Same.
He might just drop a
autocorrect will
code by
even
accident.
autocorrect it to incorrect spell. What's English?
Someone's autocorrect ain't working in their damn brain.
What I was trying to say is that my autocorrect now changes words when I spell them right to the way I would spell them wrong, because my phone is mean, and I hate it, and I want to burn it.
Well, while you're talking,
that's
Beagle,
all, folks.
how can people get a hold of you, Beag?
Beagle.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Anyway, I'll come down there and slap you right now.
She's not lying.
That sounded like a freak. Okay,
Alright.
you know what? Let's just forget it. How about this? You can find me on Twitter at Beagle_Girl27. I've noticed that I got some followers from some Smite people, which is cool. It's cool. I'm trying to post more Smitey things on Twitter, but I also don't post on Twitter a lot, and if I do, I retweet something from a YouTube or something.
From Supernatural.
Or
Yeah.
Love you,
Yeah.
Misha.
You can also find me on PS4 at Beagle_Girl2780. Send me a message, let me know you're from the podcast, or I won't accept. Just because random people in games will send me friend requests, and that's a whole different story. And if you can also find me on PC on Smite at BeagleGirl27, no underscore, because they don't allow that apparently. But yeah,
Alright.
I'll play some games, and that's about it. Yeah.
How about you, Guy?
You can find me on Twitter at GSmitey. You can get a hold of me on PS4 at GuyAJ78, and on Xbox it's Xbox at GuyAllSmitey.
Xbox.
Xbox.
Isn't there something else you want to tell us about, too?
No, we have a Facebook group also now.
Faceback?
With,
Oh, what is up with us?
Guy, I thought you were going to get out clean this episode.
I know, right?
And have fun with a whole-
But yeah, Facebook group just opened
Well,
today. So
We're all broken.
At least I know this week's title, Week in English.
What is
In English if
English?
you want to.
So we're trying to expand the community. We love all you guys. So, just
I just realized
join in this
something.
thing.
I forget.
All right. So, Dan, how can people get a hold of you?
You guys can get a hold of me at DirtXNapXDan on the PS4, DirtNapDan on the PC. Hit me up. We'll play some games. I'll either feed or lead. I'll figure it out halfway through the game. And on Twitter at Split Push Podcast with no A.
All right. That leaves good old me, good old Dirtnap's dad.
Dirtnap dingus.
Dirtnap stupid.
Sometimes. But you can find me on the PS4 and Twitter at dirt_naps_dad. They haven't drugged me onto PC yet. I haven't downloaded it on the PC yet. I'm still playing some Minecraft to get used to the WASD. I'm really trying not to sneeze right now. Get on our Discord. I got a
laugh.
permanent link. On top of Dan's and mine.
That was so funny.
Twitters. These guys are still going.
Stop.
I'm still trying not to sneeze though. And once I start, I don't stop for a while.
It's scary when he sneezes when he drives.
We have a community email. It's community@splitpushpodcast.com. And goodbye.
That's it.
I can't. Oh, hold on. That bought me a reprieve. The laugh. It saved me.
You're welcome.
So, I think that's it. So, yeah, come hang out with us and grow the Smite community so we can all have a better game. And when it comes to dirt naps, remember, you gotta give them before you take them. And when all else fails,
Split push.